Hey everybody, welcome to Southern Renaissance. I am Tony Purdue, if you didn't know, and I'm sitting here with one of my best friends in the world, Mr. Lyle McClendon.
Thank you for having me, man.
I feel like there should be, like, when I go here is like, I feel like there should be like a studio audience, like just start applauding. Yeah, like just like 5,000 people. Just
I don't get that.
You do, man. You get it from me.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I'm thank you for having me on your podcast.
Yeah, man. I've been wanting to have you, and I love hanging out. It's the good thing is about this thing. It makes it where I can just gives me an excuse to hang out with my friends.
Right.
I'm like, it's work. I got to do it. No choice.
That's the whole reason I started my podcast.
Yeah,
like
dude.
It's a good excuse to get together with your buds.
Heck yeah, man. Well, I know you're from the Coleman area, but where are you from originally? And how was that growing up around there?
I'm a native son.
Sounds so official.
Of Coleman. I was born at the old hospital, as a bunch of us were around here. You know how it is. It was okay. We didn't have. I had a good childhood, good upbringing. I was fortunate in that sense. And where we live in Coleman, it sucks, but at the same time, it's not awful. It has endearing qualities, but it has, as a teenager and a young man growing up, it has crappy qualities as well. And I say that lightly. Right. But it isn't bad. I can't complain a whole lot because everybody I know and care about is here and from here.
Exactly.
And I mean, not everybody. But overall, like I wouldn't know the people in my life had I not lived here, so that's a pro. Cons, the same old thing. There's nothing to do here. There used to be a music scene. There's kind of trying to. They ain't even a word, is it?
It don't matter.
There's kind of
South. We do what we want.
There's almost like a scene starting to bud here again, and it's picking up, but. When I was young, we had the blue law. Everything closed, but like you Sundays, you had from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. to get in town, get your crap, and get home. I
forgot all about that. Yep, that's right.
It's all right though. I can't complain. It could be a lot worse.
Oh yeah. Yep, I know what you mean. That's always been my thing. It's like, and the older I get, the more I'm like, well, I appreciate this place because where I'm from, it is where I'm from, and that's all people I love are here, all of them. Them Yankees, they can go. I'm just kidding. No, like, no, I know what you mean though. So it's like, but I got the love-hate thing, so with Alabama, but there's a lot.
Unless you live in just like a really awesome place, doesn't everybody hate their hometown?
Exactly. Exactly.
That's part of it.
I think you don't see like all the good stuff because you're there. So I guess kind of when I moved away for a little while, that's kind of what made me appreciate more being here. So that's kind of why I was like, that's part of the reason I wanted to do this podcast. I'm just like, and I met a lot of cool people up there, and it's like everybody's kind of the same, really. Like for the most part, we're all a little bit different, but it's like,
well, the South gets a bad rap from a lot of places. Like you still get chastised for things that happened, hundreds of years ago, and certain areas are like that. There's no line or denying it, cool, but for the most part, like everything's it's a little bit slower in the South. You know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, there's worse places on the planet to live. You can live in Bosnia in 1989. Like,
that would suck pretty bad, I bet.
But it's the same thing as anywhere else.
At least it's a dry heat over there. They probably got it even.
Now that is one thing you can say just sucks about Alabama. It is rife with human heat. Like, I
hadn't heard anybody say rife in a while. It's a good one.
Yeah. It is. It's just, you walk outside and you're sweating. Instantly
sweating
and suffocating. You're dying.
You're dying slowly.
You're essentially
just
dying.
As we do everything slow. We die slow. We die like molasses.
Welcome to the South.
But
everybody's blood moves about the same rate because it's filled with fat and niacin.
Well, on that note, man, let's talk about your music. I know I got to know you. I think the first time I met you, you came over to my house because I was doing like had a recording studio.
We actually met through music. Yeah.
So it was Since This Life,
and it was, which actually hit its 20th anniversary this year.
Okay,
we recorded that in 2003.
And I love all those guys too. The other guys that were in their band, they've ended up being friends over the years too.
That's something I'm blessed with. I've got a good core group of friends. Like, we've all been friends for 20 plus years now, and it's it's a good thing. But
hardcore.
I knew of you nothing but breakdowns, man. I remember that's how I knew of you from Devastators.
Oh yeah,
seeing y'all at local shows, and I ended up being in Since This Life, and we ended up recording our album at your house.
Yeah, man. I had that little side business called Right On Records, and I recorded some cool little demos and stuff there for record a Hog Mountain, a few other bands.
The legendary Hog Mountain.
Yeah. So that was fun, and it was cool to just something creative. It's fun to me to do that kind of engineering crap. It's just uses a different part of your brain to play music.
You talking about music and stuff too, that's kind of what brought us all together. And all joking aside, talking about things that are negative, I guess, about Coleman. That's why I think a lot of us end up being friends, is you have nothing else to do except hang out at your buddy's house, and somebody's got a drum set, somebody's got a guitar, get together and just do the thing,
I've heard that so many times, man, from people that are musicians from around here, because you don't have a lot going on, so you have to will it to happen. Like, there's no scene that you can just instantly be a part of. You have to say, okay, I'm going to do this. I got this idea, and I'm going to create this, and then it becomes a thing. And it's kind of cool.
And it was, we come from that cusp of social media now to not having it then, because I remember barely having a cell phone in 2004 and still having to be out on foot, hang up flyers, tack them up, pass them out. And now all you got to do is get on Facebook.
Yeah, man.
But I think I started in 2001. I think I started playing in a band when I was 16, because that was the first time I could drive to somebody's house and go to practice,
Yeah.
And we started Jarvis, and Jarvis eventually evolved into Since This Life, and I've had a music career now of 20 plus years, and I've pretty much played on and off with the same core group of guys forever. Outside of Ghost Wolves, that was like my first foray outwards, I guess you would say,
That was an interesting project. It was like
that was a moment in time, and I'm one of them people, if you were not there to witness that, you just don't know what you missed out on, because that was a good period in time, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too, man. It was weird, because whatever I am, I come from that rockabilly background and stuff, but I also love me a little Jim Morrison here and there, and and y'all were coming from sort of that heavy perspective, and then some of your other influences, and we put it together, went together like peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, man, just smooth as all get out.
Smooth as all get out. I tried to say something clever, but I'm glad you put something clever at the end. I was like, peanut butter and jelly. Nobody's ever heard of that analogy.
I mean, the only person you could have said peanut butter and banana.
Peanut butter.
The ghost of Elvis Presley.
Yeah, man. He's fried them things up, clog up them arteries.
I mean, he did it well. He did. He did it so good that he never recovered from it.
Yeah, poor guy.
I hate that. But not like Ghost was a whole era of time. Like, that was something we captured lightning in a bottle for us at one point in time. You know what I mean? Like, I dug it. Actually, after, I played in another band called Aisle 13 there for a while.
Oh, yeah.
That was like a pop rock band.
Yeah.
But cool, whatever. I took a break for like 10 years, got in a serious relationship, and just kind of fell out of it. And then when life has a way of jostling you around and flipping you on your butt,
Jostled
like
your innards.
I haven't, I had a weird evening where Matt Marks, a guy that, was in Ghost Wolves initially, was the original drummer. Matt, I've been in many bands with Matt, like Since This Life, we were in that. He was the singer. The Spring, he played drums in that. So me and Matt still to this day is like one of my very best friends. I look at him like a brother,
dude, yeah.
Like I love that dude.
Yep.
And I was having a weird evening, like just not getting into details about a lot, but had a weird thing going on, and just was driving home one evening. He was like, "Hey man," he was already in a band called Hexxus that I already adored because they're just heavy and awesome, like good sounding dudes, and ended up doing a run with them just to fill in playing bass, and 4 years later, here I am. I'm in the band now.
Nice, man. Yeah, I was about to ask.
We have two bass players.
Yeah, I love that. So how would you categorize the way you have two? You've got like, it's not like Spinal Tap, like lead bass, rhythm bass.
No, well, I mean, it almost kind of is. It kind of is like Justin Regland, our he's the original bass player. I come in on them, so but he's a pedal wizard. This dude's pedal board looks like the Starship Enterprise. It's like 30 pedals.
Oh man!
And he does all the weird sound effects driven stuff, and I anchor the crap out of us. I lock in with what Matt's playing and emulate what Billy's playing, but me and him are locked in, and
that's cool though.
It works to benefit though. It just adds like a whole other layer of like heaviness.
Yeah, man, I could see that. It's very creative because you got, like you said, you got that rock solid rhythm there, but like then you got the ambience and the crazy stuff going on. That's cool though.
And it's sad boy music. Everybody's sad like, oh man, it's because it is heavy, it is abrasive, but everybody's like, oh man, that's hateful, that's mean. And it's like, actually that's sad. It make you want to shed a tear,
like that commercial. I'm probably saying my age right now, but that commercial where that one Indian like does the one tear.
Oh yeah, they see the empty bottle on the ground, like the litter.
Yeah,
don't tread on me.
Yeah.
It is. Hexxus is just one of those things, like the way Billy described it one night. Somebody was like, well, why scream? He's like, have you ever been so upset that you just want to scream and just let go?
Yeah,
that's the deal. That's the appeal.
It's just another way of expressing yourself. I love that kind
emo.
of stuff too. Bulldozer emo. That's right. You told me about that.
Yeah, that's tentatively what we tell everybody we sound like. Cause it's better than being like, we're a metal band, or we're a sludge metal band.
Yeah.
Or
When you say metal now, it's almost like saying we're a rock band, because there's so many different genres and subgenres.
Well, like in living in Alabama, the main thing you get, you're like, man, somebody asks you, how heavy is your band, man? And I'm just like, oh, we're pretty heavy. Yeah, man, you like Five Finger Death Punch heavy? Well, never has a worse phrase been asked, I'm like, yeah, we're just a tad bit heavier than that.
Just a smidge.
We're almost like Limp Bizkit.
just a hair shy of heavier than that. Nice, man. Well,
but it's cool. I enjoy it. It's a fun time. We're working on a new album right now.
Nice, man. Well, I look forward to hearing it. Well, not only that with your music, but you got your own podcast that you do called Good Ole Gamers.
I do.
And I love it.
It's lewd and crude, but it's fun. It's the guy I do the podcast with, Brandon Gentry. Me and him have literally been best friends since we're like 4 years old. We've known each other since we played t-ball together.
Oh, man.
And look, you were talking about like using a podcast or being in a band or anything as an excuse to get with your friends. That's the whole reason we started Good Ole Gamers.
Totally, man.
We like, we like drinking some alcohol occasionally and talking about video games, and we just kind of were hanging out one weekend and parlayed that into hey, you know, why don't we do a podcast of this? And it's just translated well. I mean, we're in our going on 8th year of it.
Nice, man. You've been doing it that long. Wow.
Yeah, we're literally, I mean, we've taken some extended breaks, like life interfering with stuff, you know. Here recently we took about a year off, and we've come back and we've got 3 new episodes done since then. And you know, life interferes with creative projects sometimes, but we're trying to stick with it. We like it though. It's an excuse to be comedic and tiptoe on the line every now and then, because we're pretty notorious for doing that.
Yeah, definitely not a kids podcast.
It is not. It's definitely mature audiences.
It's funny,
like you know, they did a write-up. We did an event for a few years called Good Old Game Fest, where we had like, I don't know, 30 consoles set up, arcade cabinets. We do tournaments, prizes, had vendors, all that. And the newspaper did a write-up on us one year, and they're like, be sure to check out the podcast. And I'm like, and just be sure you're over the age of 18, because we say some pretty scandalous things from time to time. And they posted that in the Coleman Times, which blew my mind, because, you know, they wouldn't even post that Ghost Wolves ad that time, because you said Ben Franklin was like, the last time I heard something that electric, I got hit by lightning. And they're like, that's not historically accurate.
Let me tell you how much integrity Coleman Times has.
Yeah.
We made this ad that we were going to run for a band, Ghost Wolf. Now we're Ghost and Wolves.
Yeah, it's Ghost and Wolves.
Used to be
now.
Ghost Wolves, but another band took that name while we weren't playing. So we were like, okay, well, we're calling it Ghost and Wolves now. But yeah, like the Coleman Times, they were going to.
We were playing a show in Birmingham, and
yeah, that's right.
You had a free ad at the time that we could run in the local newspaper, you know?
So it was just a picture of us and a quote, but
I still have it somewhere, by the way. I do.
I was like, what can make this funny or ridiculous? And I said something like I haven't heard anything this electric till I got hit by since I got hit by that lightning bolt from the key.
Ben Franklin. Yeah.
Quote Ben Franklin. And they wouldn't publish it because it wasn't a real quote. So
yeah, they were like, that's not historically accurate. And I'm like, now there's anything you post.
Of course. But yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. Made for a good story.
Oh yeah. I mean, that was one of our past exploits that were fun.
Shining moments.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. So I know you're a fan, and you can tell some of the background here. You're a fan of horror movies.
Yeah, I like. You can't see these walls, but this is all my horror stuff. That is all Ninja Turtles and Ghostbusters. A lot of Ghostbusters. Yeah, I'm a big horror fanatic. Ghostbusters obviously is like my most favorite thing on the planet. I love retro video games, hence Good Old Gamers. That's what we do on there.
Yeah, man. Every time I come over here, you got some new crazy, just like you've got a bunch of those laser discs.
Oh yeah,
you were showing me. You've got this crazy.
I know
collection.
I'm not supposed to curse, but I almost said the S word. Like it just. Yeah, I don't know why, but I got on this kick of collecting laser discs, and now I've got like 100 of them.
Yeah, it's wild, man. I've never some of those things I never knew they were on laser discs.
Well, I think it's just like I acknowledge the fact that if I had all those laser discs and it was 1995. And as my age now, I'd be a very wealthy man indeed.
Right. That's right.
Like, because that's the whole reason. Did you know anybody with a laser disc growing up?
No,
I didn't.
Man. I just remember going into the store and like seeing the light. I'm like, oh my, what is this technology? But I never got to use one or see one.
The whole reason I found out about it is my friend Jesse. Him and his wife were like thrifting one day, and he found the laser disc of Twister, and he thought it was like a vinyl soundtrack, and bought it and brought it home to me. And I go to pull it out, put it on a record player, and I'm like, "What the?
This don't even play.
This is a giant CD, man." And that's how I found out about it. And the whole reason I bought it is they have some horror movies and like older like Terminator 2 and Aliens or 2 like.
Yeah.
They have special features that have never been released outside of Laserdisc.
Okay,
and it's insanely cheap to collect for now. But it's starting to go up.
I was going to say, yeah, it seems like the stuff that's obsolete, it eventually becomes collector stuff, it seems like.
You know, it's like, I don't know, but there's some sort of weird appeal in dead formats.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I paid 30 cents for a Bruce Willis The Return of Bruno tape the other day. You know, most people would be like, "You spent 30 cents on that." And I'm like, "I absolutely
They should
did."
pay you.
Yeah. I found the Roadhouse soundtrack too. I mean, you could listen to that and just start roundhouse kicking people.
Yeah, it's a perfect soundtrack to just roundhouse kick random strangers.
Yeah. You know, you get arrested, you go to jail, and they're like, "Oh my God, you kicked 87-year-old Miss Netherly. Why'd you do that?" Like, oh, it wasn't my fault. I had Roadhouse in my
just pull out the Roadhouse cassette, and they're like, "Oh, okay." And then they just open
it's
the
almost
door
like
and
having a
let you
pack
go.
of Mentos.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
They're just like, it's acceptable.
You just carry that little cassette around with you, and everybody's like, "Oh, okay, no problem."
Oh, sorry, Mrs. Glickman, that I broke your hip.
My bad.
I had this cassette tape. Oh, that's awful.
Well, I know that you're probably one of the few people like me in the world that is obsessed with the 70s biker movie JC.
God, I honest to God was hoping we could talk about JC for a little bit. Oh my God, man. You need to do just a whole episode review on JC, and we should sit down and watch it and just pick it apart.
Maybe
piece
we should
by piece.
do like a JC trilogy podcast.
Man, maybe we should. Oh, William Bill McGaha.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
So I remember when you found the JC tape, but how did you find it? That's what I can't remember.
So that place used to be over there, the Wizard.
The Wizard.
They were selling all their VHS. They were just trying to get rid of them, and I bought it for like $1 because at the time, I only had like a VHS player, I think, and I was just snagging anything I could find, and I like really weird old crap, and I just saw that. It was, well, $1, so that's going in there.
Score.
I watched it, and I was like, what is this?
Man, that became like such a cult favorite among the house, and like we've watched that movie for going on like 15 years now, and it's still like I hadn't talked to you in forever, and when you move back, like we're still like, like can't make it tonight, aka they got little David. Like, it's such a bizarre movie, like the way it's filmed and the premise of it,
and the acting.
It's William McGaha, Bill McGaha.
I think he's a dude from Alabama. Ironically,
yeah, he's from. You don't know a whole lot about the guy other than he's very mysterious. He did JC and like one other movie about cars or something. Yeah,
like a race car movie, but he was like clean shaven. He didn't look the same guy.
JC literally stands for Jesus Christ in this, and it is. If you look up a synopsis of it, it's literally like a remake of the story of Jesus, but it takes place on the outside of Alabama in the 60s and 70s.
But a bunch of
Their
bikers.
Biker gang, yeah. And he sees that giant winking eye in the sky, man. It sends him on that quest.
He does his sermon on the mount, and he comes back. He's like, I saw it, man. That giant winking eye in the sky. And
this movie starts out with this cat literally like he gets a crappy construction job and goes, and he's complaining the whole time. He's like, I don't see how y'all make it out here. And his buddy, Little David, the guy we were talking about, works with him. Little David hooks him up with some marijuana.
Right.
And he hits this marijuana and has a vision. Yeah. And then he just gets on his motorcycle. And I remember, what is it his boss says to him? He's like, you can't hammer nails in there. You can't do nothing. Yeah. You can't do crap. And he's just like, I had myself a vision. He gets on his motorcycle and just leaves.
Yeah, it's really weird. The timing and the editing is like really disjointed, and it makes it even more kind of interesting.
Well, he goes home after quitting the job, and he gets there, and the guy's like, he's sitting on the toilet reading the newspaper, and I don't remember what it is, but there's something the article says, and he does that oh shucks thing, where it's like boom, boom. You hear the timpani's hit.
Yeah. The music in the background sounds like Tiny Tim, or I don't even know who that is in the background, but it's like a really high pitched voice. And
he starts having all the visions too of his old lady and this other lady, like feeding him grapes and doing all this,
as one does.
And pretty much like it's essentially saying this guy's Jesus, and he's just like, had me a vision. We're going to go on a ride to Alabama where they said that we're nothing, and we're going to show them that we're something.
Yeah.
We're hip. They call us hippies and yippies.
Yeah. It's a good one, though. Yeah,
a strange
it's
movie.
terrible. It's actually a terrible movie, but I love it.
Oh, well, I mean, too, it's got a lot of signs of the times in it.
Oh,
if you know
sure,
what I'm
yeah.
saying,
Yeah.
Which at the same time, I feel like for when it was progressive.
Oh,
because
yeah.
it calls out the problems in it. You know what I
Sure,
mean?
yeah.
Like, so
Yeah.
it's somewhat progressive.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's a hippie
See
movement
that?
motorcycle movie about Jesus.
Yeah. I mean,
where can you go wrong?
that same old tired trope you see all the time.
Yeah, I'm so sick of going to movies and seeing motorcycle riding Jesus. I'm so tired of
They
it.
keep remaking that movie over and over again. Well,
It deserves a remake.
it does.
Bill McGaha, if you're still alive and
Yeah,
watch
if
this,
you're listening, please
sell the rights to JC to make that remake.
or make a sequel. Even that would be amazing.
JC rides again.
JC, see, there's the name
There it
right
is.
there. Well, yeah, man. Well, I mean, not only did we used to play in a band, we're buddies. We used to live together. We
did.
Me, you, and Cody were living together for a while there. And that was interesting. I think I just had a divorce.
You did. You did.
Well, and then we were buddies. We were playing. So, hey, let's get a house. And that was fun, man.
Yeah, man, we were doing the Ghost Wolves thing.
Yeah.
And Ghost and Wolves thing, excuse me. We were doing that for legal purposes.
Yeah, that's what's funny.
I don't want your
I have to
podcast
catch
to get. I don't want
myself,
to get sued by those two dingbats from Texas or whatever. Am I even allowed to say that?
I don't. Whatever you want to say.
I don't care.
But
They can't. What are they gonna sue you for $8?
maybe. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's all they made.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I've actually never heard them. So
I actually seen them live at a show
that's
one night, and I just
you were
I had a few to drink, and I just wanted to be like, "Hey,
you were heckling them.
yeah, thieves!
You stole our legacy.
We put out one album that nobody heard. We ruled.
You're awesome. That's another thing we were talking about since we're on the subject is we did put out that. We didn't put it out. There's a few CDs
Our friends
that got
had,
floated around.
like Inner Circle people had a copy of it. All that time, like it just Ghost Wolves kind of ended at the point the album was ready to go.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. And but so we're wanting to put that out. And Dodie, that recorded us, he did a great job. But I think he's been working on new mixes. And
He has. And they sound incredible.
Yeah,
they're
so
good.
He's a very talented producer and does a lot of different stuff. He's a cool dude. And so I'm excited. We're not really doing that band now, but like I love the idea of us just putting it out because it was a cool project.
Oh, yeah, and we had a really good following, honestly. Like I've been asked a few times over the years by random people. They're like, "Man, is there any way to have that?" You're talking about living together and stuff, and like that was that overall that was just a great period in time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And the Wolf's Den. Like you said, we were in a band. This 3-bedroom house with a basement come available, and the landlord was the father of a prominent Irish rock band.
That's right. I remember that
because he would always say, "Oh, Lyle Renta, oh, Tony Renta."
I remember the first time I met him.
He was a cool dude.
He's
100% Irish though.
Yeah. Like he was opening the door for me one day, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I can't do a good accent, even though I'm really Irish genetically."
Oh yeah, me neither.
You sing, are you? And I was like, yeah, well, sing me a song. I was like, "Oh, Danny boy," he's like, just stop.
And just before you asked me, I didn't have Bono in my school because they run like a music school in Ireland before they come over here. Because they were all the sons and kids that were in Exit 4 and Red Letters was the sisters band's name. David Merriman and Oh crap! I forgot the other guitarist's name. They were cool dudes though. But yeah, we rented from him, and he was like, "Oh, I encourage you to use the basement for your band rehearsals." And I'm like,
nice
"You will
guy.
never have a landlord be like, yeah, rock out in the basement, man."
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
it's like no, sir.
that was a whole. That wasn't a point in time. That was a state of mind.
Yeah,
at that point,
for sure.
it was cool though, man.
Yeah,
I wouldn't trade that for anything on the planet.
Absolutely, it was a really special time for me. It was very therapeutic. The music is it's almost spiritual. You know, it's very ambient. And then kind of with my, whatever you call my crooner style vocals over the ambient, but a little bit, you know, it's a little more heavy rock in places, but it's just sort of its own thing. And it was a cool, like, I like that about it. It was just, it happened. And then it's just,
I'm not being braggadocious, but honestly, there is still, out of all the bands I listen to, out of everything I've heard, and this may be a tall thing to say, but I still do not know of one single band or anything that still sounds like Ghost Wolves.
yeah.
Or Ghosts and Wolves. Excuse me.
Yeah. Get it right. Talk to our legal department.
Yeah, call Alexander Shannara if you got a problem.
Call me, Alabama. Yeah. Yeah, that's, I agree. I mean, it was a really, because we all sort of opened our minds to just trying, and I think we're all open-minded anyway, but like, if I was like one of those traditional rockabilly, but no, I can't do that. That's
and that was the deal, is like everybody come from like weirdly different backgrounds in that band. You come from rockabilly.
Yeah.
Wes, you know, like Wes was in the band that was kind of, you know, they were more like indie rock, I guess, you know, and Cody had never really been in a band, I don't think. Eric come from playing in band, you know, me and Eric both come from like hardcore backgrounds.
You can tell the way he plays. It's very angular. He's even told me that. It's very angular.
Oh, yeah.
He has a cool,
Eric has his own style.
He
that
does.
is a unique
he really
thing.
adds a lot to it. It's his rhythm is like, it's sort of that syncopation. It adds something to it instead of you're just like, it's a wall of sound. He has like a nice sync, but it's not like he's like,
there's that one thing he played it. I forget which Ghosts and Wolves song it was, but there's that one where he's like, dun, 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 at the very end of it, you know, and he's the only thing playing.
Yeah.
And the thing he's playing doesn't really fit with anything else. It just got played, but it does. It's a perfect round out ending.
It's cool, man. It's like it's sort of
that was one thing I'll give Eric some major credit for. He always kind of thought outside of the box. Eric used to, like when we were in Senseless Life, Eric was the lead guitarist.
Yeah.
And Ghost Wolves, he acted more like rhythm guitarist, but with lead qualities.
Yeah,
you know?
Melodic. That's was the cool thing about one of the coolest thing about the music, I think, is just the melodies and the melodic nature of it. That made
Eric
it easy.
Anchored a lot of the stuff.
Yeah.
Cody's over here doing the atmospheric stuff, and we're doing the anchoring.
And your bass playing, man, it's like when you know a good bass player. I mean, some bands, obviously, the bass player's more out front, like Hexxus, for example.
Yeah,
like
Rush.
Rush. But like, to me, like some of the best bands, it's like, you don't realize it's there, but when it's not there, you know it. You're like, wait, what's going on? But like you're locked in on those songs. You did an awesome job with that bass. It just really fits perfectly. So that was always something. I don't think you got enough credit. So I want to give you that credit, man.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, I started out as a drummer.
Yeah.
So like since this life, I played drums. Down in Content, the band I'm in now outside of Hexxus, I play drums.
Tell me about that band, man.
Me and Matt from Hexxus, and Jonathan Tidwell from Braver by the Second.
Oh, Jonathan.
And we're doing like a 3-piece thing. It's actually Matt playing guitar and doing vocals.
Okay.
Tidwell playing bass and me playing drums. It's we don't really, every song sounds somewhat different. It's like if Quentin Tarantino was watching Westerns and listening to Hum and Helmet at the same time.
I like the idea. It sounds good to me.
Like Matt doesn't really listen to either one of those bands, so he's just like, I don't know what you're talking about, but it's Some of it's kind of got a helmet like vibe. Some of it's got a hum like vibe. It's got a very not 90s kind of vibe to it.
I got you.
Some of it is very westerny, like
I like
it's different. I really enjoy it. It's cool though. It's just something we haven't played a live show yet. We haven't recorded anything, and we've been working on this band for like 3 years now.
I mean, sometimes to me that's part of it, just living in the moment. I put together a great band up in Indiana, and we were doing kind of the rockabilly stuff. Me and a drummer were playing up there for a while, and we kept playing just I kept trying different ideas, like running into a bass amp, and like we started sounding like Eddie Cochran, but then all of a sudden we kind of sound like the Melvins.
That's
it was like, what is happening here? But then we got an upright bass player. He was a great player, and for about 2 practices, and then I was like, well, I got this job down south, y'all. See you.
Peace be with you.
Peace. And I felt terrible because it was really coming together, but I enjoyed that experience and just playing, even though it was just right there during practice. We still got to play, and it was a good experience. So sometimes I think that's all it is.
Oh yeah, that's the beauty of it, because I was going through a pretty rough patch at my point in life. I wasn't in Hexxus yet when I actually started, or not started, but how it happened is me and Matt wanted to start playing guitar, and he was like, come play my drums, play to me, give me somebody to play with. And we just started writing songs, and literally it was just me and Matt for like a year. And then we asked John, we're like, hey, you want to come write some bass? And it's just turned into that from this. And like, I think a lot of it is just wanting everything to be ready. Yeah. And to make it sound good. We always make jokes. We're kind of like a black metal band, how we're never going to play shows or do anything. We're going to get lost in the woods. But we're going to eventually. It's just getting it right, and schedules, being adults. Everybody's got kids and jobs just adult things happening, so it prevents.
And I mean, and that's part of the thing that people don't always understand. When you're an explorer, you're an audio explorer, you're trying different things. It's not like you're not necessarily following that exact formula. That's part of the process. So it's not going to like happen overnight, like necessarily.
Well, yeah, because that was something we want something that doesn't sound like Hexxus. Yeah, exactly. We want it to sound. And that's the thing with a lot of, in my opinion, that's the thing with a lot of bands and stuff you see now is you do, but you don't see just a ton of bands that stand out on their own, and where you're like, oh, well, that sounds like so and so, or they're playing something like this and that. Like there are a few bands in our generation like active now that I feel like will have lasting quality, like somebody like Rolling Stones or Led Zeppelin, anybody. It's
timeless. That's exactly the kind of bands that I love. It's just like it doesn't follow the rules of time. It just cool.
People get on the tails of people real hard too. Like they're like, well, you've put out this album, it doesn't sound like this one. I'm that's the point of a band, is to grow and evolve and try new things. Like
I know what you mean, and I try to think of it as a fan of music. Like sometimes though, it's like maybe I do want to hear AC/DC and I don't want to hear like a jazz like intro, but then other times I'm like, I want to hear this jazz song, and then I want to hear Ween right after that, and then I want to hear like Calypso right after. It's like I like to jump around, so jump up and get down. I can't
jump up.
Yeah, but yeah, that's so I totally get what you mean, but I can see both sides. Yeah,
I don't know. That's, you're an artist. That's part of it. It's just exploring the world around you, and just some things work, some things don't.
Yeah, man.
And you don't know until you try.
And that's really what it's about, being an artist and not necessarily catering to what you think people want to hear.
Yeah, because I will straight up say that I have never really played, other than maybe some of my bands in my 20s, but like now I'm not playing like Hexxus. Anybody in Hexxus will tell you this ain't for everybody else. This is for us. Yeah, that's like our release common ground. And it just so happens like this is we're making music that we want to sound like this. If you like it, great. If not, you know, there's 100 other bands that sound like Red Hot Chili Peppers. Go listen to them. You know, go enjoy yourself there.
Like, I listen to that, and I don't ever want to feel like I did that day.
Yeah, me neither. It makes me want to play in traffic.
But
it's kind of like, listen, I'm not even going to get on start talking down about bands, because I could sit here all night and just give my opinion.
I hear you, man. Well, what is it like? We were talking earlier, you know, about kind of the pros and cons of the South. What is something that you really like about the South, like that you really dig about it?
People are nicer here.
Yeah,
honest to God, like they really are. I've been elsewhere that's not the South, and I mean, I'm not saying people are just awful, because they're not, but just nobody really. It seems like if you're not involved in their life, they don't give one flying crap about anything you got going on.
Yeah, I know what you mean, and I think maybe it's a cultural thing. Like, we expect people to be nice, and we're
I mean, we're from the South. We're born in the South. Like, we're accustomed to things here, and I think, you know, I mean, it would be no different from somebody that's lived in the Pacific Northwest their entire life and come in here and they're like, you don't have X amount of serial killers. Yeah. People actually help you change your tire. Yeah. You know, like, and I mean, and that, in all fairness, is no different than us expecting the same thing out of the South. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally, man. And I think maybe part of it too, it's like, you know, other people in different areas, they actually are nice just in their own way. Yeah. They have a different way of, we're like, hey, y'all. And we're like
it's
waving
just like
at everybody.
Dialects, you know, and like language and stuff. Like, you got the same language, but depending on what region you're from, your dialect is different.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. Like, everybody's got the same idea, not to be an a-hole and just to try to get along with everybody.
Yeah, man.
But it's presented different by the area you're in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I do. That's what I do enjoy about the South is like, and I mean, come on, it's beautiful to look at some area. Not all the country's nice, but some of it is. You know, we got the better sunsets. Man. Like,
man, it's nice.
We may have lost the war, but we're still here. Yeah, whatever.
Thank God we did.
Yeah, no kidding. What a bunch of ignorant morons we would be if we didn't.
Right.
But you know, the South is just, I don't know, it's the South. It's home, man. Like,
yeah, dude.
I mean, there is negativity about it, but I mean, that's everywhere you go. And
absolutely.
No matter where you're at, you have ignorant people, and you just, you know, the part of being an adult is learning to overlook ignorant people. I've learned that the past couple years, and it's hard for me to do and not just call somebody out on it. But I mean, that's a lot of it, you know.
I get it, man. And that's like I was saying, I mean, this podcast, I want to show people like everybody's closer to the same than they are different.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I used to watch on the news, you know, all the wars in the Middle East and stuff. It's like you think of someone like living that far away, they're different. But then a while back, it was like I had a job at the biomolecular lab, and they were actually working over there, and I had to go over there to like Abu Dhabi, and I was in the desert for a while. That. So it was like, and you sort of like your brain shifts, and you're just talking to people, you know, like you would with it. It's like, wait, and it's weird for me to even say this out loud, but it's like they're just like I am. It's like they're from a different place.
It's a different context, but everybody ultimately wants the same goal in life.
So that just really, even though I knew that already, it's like being there and like talking to someone from a completely different culture and realizing, oh, well, we're all just human beings. That's so it's like that with the South, the North, or anywhere.
That's how the furthest like out of country I've ever been was I went to Mexico on my 30th birthday, like on a cruise, and like, you know, people have all these misconceptions about how bad these areas are. And I mean, some of them are, don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But it ain't no worse than stuff you see here. One of the things I do that really made me feel at home is we're walking down this like almost like a barrio street. It's just run down stuff. And I come across an arcade that has nothing but Capcom fighting games in it.
Nice.
And I was like, you know, they're literally just hanging out, drinking beer, playing arcades, having fun. It is no different than what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
People are just ignorant, and they're quick to call out stuff that they know nothing about.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. I think, and that's like fear. Ultimately, fear is what causes that. Like, you don't understand something, so you're gonna like say, oh, that's not right, or it's scary.
Yeah, if you would do more investigating on it, like, it might not be such a scary topic to tackle. You know what I mean? Like, because like I said, everybody's alive. I don't know anybody that asked to be here, and I feel like most, and I'm not saying that the world doesn't have awful, evil people in it, because it surely does.
No,
but ultimately, everybody, I think, wants the same thing. They just want to be able to live life and just enjoy what time you got here. Exactly. You know what I mean?
Yep, totally, man. And that's why it's like, and I'm talking to different people, like a lot of the people like you and other people have been a part of my life in different ways, or even people I admire that I may not have been around a lot. It's just people I'm getting on here. It's like, it's showing, hey, these are all different people, but they're they're still like similar.
Yeah,
in so many ways.
I'm into this, you're into that, but we still have a lot of common ground here. You know?
Exactly, man. Because there's a lot of division today with a lot of stuff, and it's like, I can't believe I'm over here like talking like this, but just the way it feels, man. I'm just trying to be sincere, you know.
Oh yeah,
because before now I was being completely dishonest and never.
You were just filling me full of it,
full of lies. Just kidding. But,
all the deceit.
I didn't know we were gonna get all deep, but that's
I'm good with it, man.
Yeah, like, man. That's the cool thing too. You know, there's this sort of has an interview format, but each person I talk to, they've got their own vibe. So it's like we just roll with it.
Well, that's going to make the uniqueness of each of your episodes stand out.
Yeah, you know? Absolutely.
And it's something I'm excited to do it, because like doing Good Ole Gamers, it's a set format, and we're a straight comedic podcast.
Yeah,
and I'm myself on there, but at the same time, like I was telling you earlier, we have a set listener base, and they kind of have come to expect the same thing out of episodes. Essentially, you get to where you're playing a character of yourself for that. And I mean, to a degree, it's like, because some of the stuff we bring up on the podcast is not, reflective of how real life is, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
But, it's nice being able just to not have to worry about being comedic or like
it's work.
Anything else. Like it's nice just to be able to have a nice normal conversation, I guess.
As normal as people like me and you can have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm very surprised that this has been as normal as it has, man.
It's honestly, it's freaked me out a little bit how normal my conversations have been on this show so far, which is, I guess that's a good thing.
It's weird to take you serious though with a skin face mask right behind you.
I know, right? Right. I know, man. You got cool stuff in here, a bunch of Freddy Krueger stuff, and
nothing says like enjoyment like following a dead, burnt child murderer.
Now this is the most, and this is a good example right now, because last episode I talked to my dad, who's like a preacher, and he's done all kinds. And he's, very chill. And I recorded that also at Cindy's yoga studio. So now here I am in the precipice of the horror.
Yeah.
So it's
like the dark Lord.
The dark. I love it though, man. It's like, it's cool. I love all kinds of people, and I like it. So I'm glad you did it.
Oh man, I'm more than excited. To do it. Like anything creative you want to get together and work on, I'm down.
That's one thing, man. Like I always noticed you're one of the most creative people I know, because I can see the wheels are always turning. You're always got a cool idea. You were telling me some ideas. Yeah, I really do mean that. Like, and that's part of people I like. I like creative people. It's something. It's like creating something out of nothing. It's like not everybody can do that, so it's just cool, man. But Well, what's a good way? How would someone go about listening to your podcast?
The podcast, you can go straight to Good Ole Gamers, OLE.com. I think if it's not still registered.com, it'll take you to the right site. It was goodolegamers.show.
Okay.
At one point too was the other one. I think we locked down the URL.
Okay.
We're on Spotify, all the major streaming formats,
So you
Stitcher,
just
YouTube.
type it in.
We're to the point we're about to do a video thing similar to what you do.
Cool, man.
Like we're hoping to have that going in a couple months. But
I was honestly going to do it as like, I just sort of did it for promo, and then I realized, well, people like video too, so I just started videoing it every time.
I think it's fantastic, and I like how you know, like you've got the portable setup, so you can go anywhere.
Yeah,
and it's a different set every time. That makes it's fresh.
Yeah,
differently engaging. You know,
I'm fresh, man.
Fresh as all be, man.
Start rapping.
Oh yeah, I'll just say her be hot, man. I just like yeah.
Yeah, I need a hype man. Somebody needs to hype me up.
I need somebody to be like, yeah, man, you better get up and go to work. Because I don't want to.
Just yeah. Oh yeah.
I just need somebody like to cheer me through life most days. Don't give up now, man. Because I think about it.
Yep. I mean, those cell phones are great. Like, I'll set alarms for like different things because I have trouble remembering some things.
Yeah.
But I'll hear that alarm sound. It's just like nails on the chalkboard, man.
I've got a Google speaker in my room, and every night I'm like, okay, Google, set the alarm for 6 a.m. You know,
don't do it.
And then it'll go off every morning. And I'm just like, curse you, Google.
Yep. I get it, man. But and as far as like your music right now, I know Hexxus, they probably you've got music out and stuff.
Yeah, it's Hexxus at Bandcamp. I think it's Hexxus Band.
Okay,
I could be wrong on that, but HEXXUS. The only Alabama. There's like a few other Hexxus, but we're the best one. We're the main one. Yeah,
you're the one on top.
The Alabama one.
Okay.
Funny story. We played a show in Memphis and had the guy from the other Hexxus band show up,
Really?
and he was a little PO'd at us, and he was like, well, I had that band name about 8 years ago and blah, blah, blah. And then was just kind of ticked off the whole night, and then come out after the show and asked if we wanted his excess merch to sell as our own.
That's hilarious.
I kid you not,
That's
man.
weird.
It's very strange. I'm like, and we would have said yes, and he would have wore somebody's skin, you know.
Oh man, that's wild.
But
man.
that was like on one of the first shows of my tour with Hexxus. I'm just like, does this happen all the time?
Yeah, just get a really common name just so you can get other people's merch. That's not a common name, but it's just, I imagine that's funny.
We're a Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
We're a tumbling rock.
Yeah, the Rolling Stone, and then you can just duct tape the S at the end.
Yeah. I mean, there's all kinds of way to make money.
I like it, man.
But we're on Bandcamp. We've actually Tunguska is the first record. We're working on the second one now. We got a few songs done.
Nice, man.
So yeah.
Well,
on there.
Awesome, man. Well, like I say, we're planning on releasing that Ghosts and Wolves thing.
We're still doing that. Just pretty much finding time when we can go up there.
Yeah.
I figure maybe in the next few weeks we might could get to Doty's and do something.
Hopefully so. That'd be awesome, man. Get that done. Yeah, I know it's been crazy. We've had a lot going on. So, but yeah, we'll get that out. That was like 2008. I guess that we originally did that, or somewhere around there, maybe.
Yeah,
something
around
like
about.
that.
It's been a minute.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'll be glad to get that out. And
shamanistic ambient rock, man.
Yeah, lots of shamanistic lyrics with some ambient rock. It's its own thing.
You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, it was fun, man. But hey, well, thank you for being on.
Oh man, thank you for having me.
I sure appreciate you. Always happy to talk to you. And like we were saying, it's always a good excuse just to talk to our buddies.
Oh yeah, man, most definitely.
I'm proud of how mature we've been. Like
me too, man. I have only slipped up and said one S word, and anybody that knows me personally knows that I probably just broke my own record to that.
I know, man. I'm proud. Yeah, because
I got I've got professional Lyle, and I've got it's just everybody hanging out loud. They're not going to judge me by what I say. You know,
me too, man. It's like there's different versions of Tony for sure. You know all of them Tonys, but
it's okay.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, this has been a good episode, and
absolutely,
I guess we'll hit it. And we'll head over to the next location, wherever we're going next. And hey, man, I appreciate you. And thank y'all for joining us on Southern Renaissance.
Bye-bye, man.